Next, we are going to study about different types of redox reactions. What are the different types of redox reactions? Actually, there are four different types of redox reactions. That is, one is combination reactions, then decomposition reactions, displacement reactions, and the most important and the last one is disproportionation reactions. First, we will see what is meant by combination reactions. Combination reactions we are studying from smaller class onwards, isn't it? It is very easy to understand how we can represent a combination reaction generally as A plus B giving C, where A and B are the reactants and C is the product. That means here we have two reactants reacting to give a single product. Or we can represent it as A plus B plus C giving D. That means here we have three reactants reacting to give a single product. So, how we can define a combination reaction as two or more reactants reacting to give a single product. So, minimum number of reactants should be 2, but the product should be only 1. There can be 2 or more reactants, but only one product. Now, the first example for a combination redox reaction is the very simple formation of carbon dioxide by the burning of carbon. So, C plus O2 giving CO2. We have to show that it is a combination redox reaction, isn't it? So, here we have two reactants, that is carbon and oxygen, reacting to give carbon dioxide, that is a single product. So, it is a combination reaction. Now, how we can show that it is a combination redox reaction? Yes, only based on oxidation number or oxidation state. So, assign the oxidation state. Carbon is in the free state, so or uncombined state, so the oxidation number will be 0. O2 also in the free state or uncombined state, so that is also in 0 oxidation state. Now, in carbon dioxide, since it is a neutral species, the sum of oxidation state should be equal to 0. Oxygen, we know it is minus 2, so minus 2 into 2, it is minus 4. So, carbon will be plus 4 because we have only one carbon. So, how we can show that it is a combination redox reaction? Because there is change in oxidation state of carbon from 0 to plus 4. There is an increase in oxidation number, or carbon is getting oxidized. At the same time, for oxygen, there is a decrease in oxidation state from 0 to minus 2. That means O2 is undergoing reduction. Decrease in oxidation number means reduction. So, there is simultaneous oxidation and reduction. That means it is a redox reaction. At the same time, it is a combination reaction. In the second example, that is magnesium is reacting with N2 to give magnesium nitrate, that is Mg3N2. So, here also we have two reactants reacting to give a single product. So, it is a combination reaction definitely, isn't it? So, now we have to show that it is a a redox reaction. How? Based on the oxidation number. So, magnesium free state or uncombined state. So, the oxidation number will be 0. N2 also in the free state. So, the oxidation number is 0. Now, Mg3N2, from the formula itself it is clear how what will be the oxidation state of nitrogen here, plus 3 and magnesium plus 2, because how we know magnesium is always plus 2, isn't it? We know magnesium is a group 2 metal. Group 1 and 2, group 1 oxidation state will be always plus 1 and group 2 will be always plus 2. So, magnesium is in plus 2 oxidation state. We don't know in nitride what is the oxidation state of nitrogen. So, how we can assign plus 2 into 6? Plus 2 into 3, it will be plus 6. So, plus 2 into 3 plus nitrogen, let it be x. So, x into 2 equal to 0. So, 6 plus 2x equal to 0. So, 2x equal to 6. So, x equal to plus 3. So, the oxidation state of nitrogen here, it is plus 3. Now, so here also two reactants are reacting to give a single product. So, it is a combination reaction. Now how we can say that it is a combination redox reaction? Yes, magnesium, there is a change in oxidation state from 0 to +2. So we can say that magnesium is undergoing oxidation because there is an increase in oxidation number. At the same time, nitrogen, there is a decrease in oxidation number. Sorry, it will be -6. So nitrogen will be -3. So nitrogen 0 to -3, there is a decrease in oxidation number. So decrease in oxidation number means it is undergoing reduction. So there is simultaneous oxidation and reduction. So it is a combination redox reaction. So all the combination reactions with oxygen or whatever it is can be considered as a redox reaction. Now from this equation we can say that there is one condition required for a combination reaction. Whether it is combining with oxygen, whether it is combining with nitrogen, whatever it is, whether oxygen is combining with a compound, for example nitric oxide or nitrogen dioxide, whatever it is, the condition required is in the reactant side, any one of the reactants should be in the elemental form. That means uncombined form or in the free state. Okay, so the condition required for a combination redox reaction is any one of the reactants should be in the element or uncombined form or in the free state. So that is about the combination redox reactions. Now the second type of redox reaction is decomposition reactions, and we know that decomposition reactions are actually the opposite of what the combination reactions, because how we can represent generally a decomposition reaction as, yes, A giving B plus C. That means here A is the reactant reacting to give, or decomposed to give, reacting. We cannot say that it is reacting because there is no other species or no other reactants on the left hand side. So A giving B plus C means A is decomposed to give B and C, or A is breaking to B and C, or we can write it as A giving A decomposed to give B plus C plus D. So how we can generally define a decomposition reaction as, yes, a single compound, because on the left hand side we have only one reactant. So a single compound will be breaking down into two or more components. Okay, so breaking down of a compound into two or more components. Minimum how many components should be there on the product side? 2. So a single compound will be breaking down into two or more components. So this is simply the reverse of, or the opposite of, what type of reactions? Combination reactions. Now here we are studying about decomposition redox reactions. So see the first example, 2H2O liquid, water on decomposition. We know that we are getting hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. So on the reactant side we have only water. That means one compound is decomposing or breaking to give two products, hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Therefore definitely it is a decomposition reaction. Now what we have to show is it is a decomposition redox reaction based on oxidation number. So assess the or assigned oxidation state. Oxygen we know it is -2, so -2 into 1, because we have only one oxygen here. So here it should be +2. We have two hydrogen atoms, so one hydrogen it will be +1. So again I am telling you, when we assign the oxidation state, there is no significance for the stoichiometric coefficients coming on the left hand side. Okay. Now H2 in the free state, so the oxidation state should be 0. Oxygen also in the free state, so the oxidation state is 0. Now see what is the change in oxidation number. It is a decomposition reaction. Now check whether it is a decomposition redox reaction. Hydrogen, what is the change in oxidation number? Plus 1 to 0. That means there is a decrease or reduction in the oxidation number. That means it is undergoing reduction. At the same time, see what happens to oxygen, minus 2 to 0. That means minus 2 to 0 means there is an increase in oxidation number. Isn't it? That means it is undergoing oxidation. So, simultaneous oxidation and reduction is there. So, it is a decomposition redox reaction. Now, see the second example, there is a decomposition of potassium chlorate. So, to potassium chloride and oxygen gas. So, here also we have to show that it is a decomposition reaction. It is very clear from the equation, isn't it? Because on the reactant side we have only KClO3, only one reactant here, or only one compound is here on the left hand side. On decomposition we are getting two products. So, it is a decomposition reaction. Now, assigned oxidation state, oxygen is minus 2, minus 2 into 3, minus 6. Potassium, it is a group 1 metal, so definitely the oxidation state will be plus 1. Now, what will be for chlorine? Either you can take it as X or you can simply calculate minus 2 into 3, minus 6. Minus 6 we have here, we have only one potassium, so plus 1, minus 6 plus 1, minus 5. Sum should be equal to 0. So, chlorine, here we have only one chlorine, so it will be plus 5. So, sum will be 0. Now, KCl, chlorine is minus 1 and potassium is plus 1. O2 in the free state, that means oxidation state will be 0. Now, is there any change in the oxidation state of potassium? Left hand side also plus 1, right hand side also plus 1. So, there is no oxidation and reduction for potassium. Now, see the case of chlorine. There is a change in oxidation state from plus 5 to minus 1. That means there is a decrease in oxidation number. That means chlorine is undergoing reduction. Then what about the case of oxygen? Here there is a decrease, there is an increase in oxidation number from minus 2 to 0. That means oxygen is undergoing oxidation. So, there is simultaneous oxidation and reduction. That means it is a decomposition redox reaction. Now, like combination reactions, from the example itself it is clear. See the examples. In the product side, in the first case, in the first example, in the product side we have hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. That means both are in the elemental form or in the uncombined form. So, both the products are in the uncombined form or elemental form. But see the second equation also, it is a decomposition redox reaction. But here what happens? One is KCl and the other one is oxygen. That means KCl is a compound. It is in the combined state, isn't it? But O2 is in the uncombined or elemental form. So, what is the condition required for a decomposition reaction? For the combination reaction, the condition is any one of the reactants should be in the elemental form. Therefore, here for decomposition reaction, the condition required is any one of the product. If both the products are in the elemental form or uncombined form, fine, there is no problem. But the condition required is any one of the products should be in the elemental form or uncombined form or in the free state. Now, we already studied that, already we have seen that almost all the combination reactions are redox reactions. But here there is a twist, that is all the decomposition reactions are not redox reactions. Okay, all the decomposition reactions are not redox reactions. Like combination reaction, for example, decomposition of calcium carbonate, that is limestone. On decomposition we are getting calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas, that is calcium oxide, we know that it is quicklime. Now, if you assign the oxidation state, we can see that oxygen is minus 2, minus 2 into 3, we know that it is minus 6. Calcium, it is a group 2 metal, so definitely the oxidation state will be plus 2. Then what about carbon? Minus 2 into 3 is minus 6, plus 2 into 1 is plus 2, plus 2 plus minus 6 is minus 4. So, carbon will be in plus 4 oxidation state. See how to write the oxidation state? We have to write the oxidation state above each element. Okay. Now, calcium oxide, we know oxygen is minus 2, so calcium will be plus 2. In carbon dioxide, oxygen minus 2 into 2, it is minus 4, so carbon will be plus 4. Now, how we can we say, see the change in oxidation state here. Calcium on the left hand side it is plus 2, right hand side also plus 2, so no change in oxidation state, no oxidation or reduction. Carbon in the left hand side it is plus 4, right hand side also plus 4, no change in oxidation state, so no oxidation or reduction. Oxygen also in the left hand side it is minus 2, right hand side in two places we have oxygen. In both the places oxygen atoms are in the same oxidation state. That means here there is no oxidation or reduction, all elements are remaining in the same oxidation state, but it is a decomposition reaction, isn't it? A single reactant decomposed to give two products, isn't it? So, it is a decomposition reaction, but it is not a redox reaction. So, remember, all the decomposition reactions are not redox reactions like combination reactions. So, this is about the decomposition reactions. Next, we have the third type of redox reaction, that is displacement reaction. In 10th standard, in detail, you have studied about displacement reactions with so many examples relating to activity series or reactivity series, isn't it? So, here I am not going to mention much about the activity series or reactivity series, because that we will study in detail next year. So, here I am not going to discuss in terms of activity series or reactivity series, but we will see few examples of displacement reactions. We know during a displacement reaction what happens actually, an atom or ion from a compound, isn't it, will be replaced by another atom or ion of another element. So, here of another element. What do you mean by another element? For example, same element, between same element there is no displacement, isn't it? A copper cannot displace copper from another compound, isn't it? Iron cannot displace iron from iron sulfate. Copper cannot displace copper from copper sulfate. So, there is no displacement reaction between same metals, isn't it? Now, there are two types of displacement reactions. Once again, what is displacement reactions? Yes, it is an ion, or sometimes it will be in the form of ion, isn't it? So, an atom or ion from a compound will be replaced by another atom or another element. Mainly there are two types of displacement reactions. One is metal displacement reactions and other one is non-metal displacement reactions. Metal displacement reactions in detail you have already studied in 10th standard. So, but still we will see how it becomes. Here we are just going to see how it is how metal displacement reaction is a redox reaction. Okay. Now, we know that what happens during a metal displacement reaction. For example, if you dip zinc rod in copper sulfate solution, what happens? Yes, zinc will displace copper from copper sulfate. Zinc is displacing copper from copper sulfate. That means a metal will be displacing another metal from its compound, or whether it is a salt solution or whatever it is. So, how we can define it? A metal in a compound will be replaced by another metal which is in the uncombined state. So, here copper in copper sulfate. So, here copper metal is actually present in the compound, that is copper sulfate, and this copper from the compound copper sulfate will be displaced by or replaced by what? Zinc, metal which is in the uncombined state or free state. So the metal which is displacing another metal should be in the free state or uncombined state, and the metal which is getting displaced should be in the combined form or in the form of a compound. So the very simple example is zinc displacing copper from copper sulfate. Now we have to show that it is a displacement as well as a redox reaction. How? Based on oxidation number. Now oxygen, we know that it is minus 2. Minus 2 into 4, it is minus 8. Copper is in plus 2 oxidation state. So plus 2 into 1, it is plus 2. Minus 2 into 4, minus 8. Minus 8 plus 2, it will be minus 6. So sulfur will be plus 6. Zinc is in 0 oxidation state because it is in free state. Copper free state, that means 0 oxidation state. Zinc sulfate, here also oxygen minus 2, zinc is in plus 2 and sulfur is in plus 6 oxidation state. So here how we can say that we know that it is a displacement reaction, because a metal is displacing another metal from its compound. So here copper, there is a change in oxidation state from plus 2 to 0. Plus 2 to 0 means there is a decrease in oxidation number, that means copper is undergoing reduction. At the same time, sulfur, there is no change in oxidation number, that means there is no oxidation or reduction for sulfur. But see the case of zinc. Zinc means there is a change in oxidation state from 0 to plus 2. That means there is an increase in oxidation number for zinc, that means zinc is undergoing oxidation. Now here see which metal is displacing copper from copper sulfate, zinc, and the metal which is displacing another metal from its compound, here it is undergoing oxidation. That means it should be a reactive metal. Okay, undergoing oxidation means we know that all the metals are electropositive, they are ready to lose electrons, but they differ in the reactivity, isn't it? So only a highly reactive metal or a metal which can readily undergo oxidation can only displace a less reactive metal. So zinc can displace copper because zinc is more reactive than copper. So that is why here zinc is undergoing oxidation and copper is undergoing reduction. So zinc is undergoing reduction means here zinc is getting reduced. Zinc is undergoing oxidation. So it is getting oxidized. So zinc is oxidized means it is undergoing oxidation, so it will be acting as a reducing agent or reductant. So zinc is displacing copper, so zinc should be, the condition for a metal displacement reaction is the metal which is displacing another metal should be a better reducing agent, means which is ready to undergo oxidation. Clear? Here zinc is displacing copper from copper sulfate only because zinc is more reactive than copper, and that is why zinc is getting oxidized. So the metal which is displacing another metal should undergo oxidation, that means it is getting oxidized. So that should be a better reducing agent. Undergoing oxidation means it will be a reducing agent. So the condition required for metal displacement reaction is very important. The metal which is displacing another metal should be a better reducing agent. Very important condition. Another example for a metal displacement reaction is Cr2O3 solid on reaction with aluminium giving Al2O3 plus chromium. So here also Aluminium, the metal which is displacing chromium is aluminium. So aluminium is in the free state or uncombined state. Then chromium is displaced from the compound, that is Cr2O3. So how we can show that it is a redox reaction? Oxygen -2 into 3, it is -6. So chromium should be +6. But here we have 2 chromium atoms, so 1 chromium will be +3. Or you give X and find out the oxidation state of chromium. Aluminum in the free state, so 0, -2 into 3, -6. So aluminium should be +6. So here we have 2 aluminium atoms, so 1 aluminium +3. So +3 into 2, +6. Chromium free state 0. So here see what happens to chromium. Chromium +3 to 0, there is a decrease in oxidation state, that means chromium is undergoing reduction, isn't it? So only that should happen because aluminium is displacing chromium. So which metal should undergo oxidation here? Aluminium is displacing chromium, means aluminium should be more reactive than chromium. Aluminium should be undergoing oxidation. So here aluminium is displacing chromium, so aluminium is getting oxidized, isn't it? Aluminium is undergoing oxidation. See the oxidation state of aluminium change, 0 to +3. So increase in oxidation number means it is undergoing oxidation, or we can say that it is getting oxidized. So it will be acting as a reducing agent. So again the condition is proved, that is the metal which is displacing another metal should be a better reducing agent. Now, so what we can say about the condition required for a metal displacement reaction? Yes, only a highly simply based on the activity series or reactivity series, what we can say, just like your 10th standard, a highly reactive metal can displace a less reactive metal from its compound. What do you mean by a highly reactive metals? Yes, the one which is ready to undergo oxidation, or the one which can act as a better reducing agent. So, or we can state the condition as the metal which is a better reducing agent only can displace another metal. So this is about the metal displacement reaction. Now we are studying about metal displacement redox reactions under displacement reaction, isn't it? Now we have one more displacement reaction, that is non-metal displacement reactions. Non-metals means usually we are studying about the very common non-metal displacement reactions are hydrogen displacement reactions, because hydrogen is a non-metal, isn't it? And rarely we can see oxygen displacement reactions also, but for us there is only, we need to study only about hydrogen displacement reaction, hydrogen as a non-metal displacement reactions. That means the reactions where there is release of hydrogen gas. The first one is, we know that all the alkali metals, which are the alkali metals? Yes, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. Francium no need to consider because it is, the last member will be always radioactive. So all the alkali metals, that means group 1. Alkali metals are group 1 metals, and some alkaline earth metals. Alkaline earth metals means they are group 2 metals. Which are the some alkaline earth metals? That is calcium, strontium and barium. Okay. So all the alkali metals and some group 2 metals can react when they react with cold water. When they react with cold water, they can displace hydrogen from that cold water. Okay, so why only group 1 and group 2 metals? Because cold water means the reaction condition is there is no extreme condition, no heating, no cold water, no hot water, no steam, nothing. The temperature is very low, so only under such conditions, only highly reactive metals can displace hydrogen from water. So that is why group 1 all the group 1 metals and few group 2 metals, that is calcium, strontium and barium. They can release hydrogen from water. For example, from group 1 sodium, when it reacts with water, we are getting NaOH and hydrogen. So there is displacement of hydrogen. So this is an example for a non-metal displacement reaction. That means hydrogen as a non-metal, it is displaced. Now we have to show that it is a non-metal displacement redox reaction based on oxidation number. So sodium in the free state, so it is 0, oxygen -2 and hydrogen is +1. In NaOH we know that hydrogen is +1, oxygen is -2, Na is +1. Hydrogen is in 0, that means free state. So sodium, there is a change in oxidation number from 0 to +1, that is increase in oxidation number, that is oxidation. At the same time, if you look at oxygen, there is no change in oxidation state for oxygen, but hydrogen, there is a change in oxidation state. Here, when you look at here, there is a no change, but here +1 to 0. +1 to 0 means there is a decrease in oxidation number of hydrogen. That means it is undergoing reduction. So there is simultaneous oxidation and reduction. At the same time, there is displacement of hydrogen. So it is a non-metal hydrogen displacement redox reaction. The second case, a group 2 metal, it is reacting. The first one is example for a group 1 metal reacting. So here it is group 2, that is calcium is reacting with cold water. So here also the water is cold. We are getting calcium hydroxide and hydrogen. So here also it is an example for a redox reaction. How? Calcium free state 0. In water we know so many times already we have assigned the oxidation state. It is -2 and hydrogen will be +1. So here also hydrogen +1, oxygen -2, calcium +2, hydrogen in the free state, so 0. Calcium, what is the change in oxidation state? 0 to +2, so it is undergoing oxidation. Hydrogen, what happens? There is no change. Yes, oxygen, there is no change in oxidation state, but hydrogen, there is change from +1 to 0 oxidation state, so it is undergoing reduction. So there is simultaneous oxidation and reduction. So it is a redox reaction as well as hydrogen, that is a non-metal displacement reaction. Now, the second example where there is displacement of hydrogen is only, now we have seen that only very reactive metals like group 1 and group 2 metals, group 2 not every metals, only the metals which is coming at the bottom of the group, more reactive. Calcium, strontium and barium, they can only release hydrogen from cold water. Then what about the less reactive metals? They can release hydrogen from, for example, like the less reactive metals like magnesium. Magnesium is actually coming in group 2. But it is not able to release hydrogen from cold water, but it can release hydrogen from steam. So like magnesium and iron, when they react with steam, they can displace hydrogen. For example, magnesium, it is a group 2 metal, but not able to release hydrogen from cold water. So when it reacts with steam, so here H2O is in the form of steam. Okay, reacts with steam, we are getting magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen. Similarly, iron on reaction with water also we are getting iron oxide and hydrogen. Now we have to show that these are hydrogen displacement or non-metal displacement reactions as well as redox reactions. Magnesium free state, so 0, oxygen -2, hydrogen will be +1. Here hydrogen +1, oxygen -2, magnesium +2, hydrogen the free state 0. So for magnesium, there is a change in oxidation state from 0 to +2, so it is undergoing oxidation. At the same time, hydrogen, there is a reduction in oxidation state from +1 to 0, so it is undergoing reduction. Now, the second case, iron free state 0, oxygen -2 in water, hydrogen is in +1. So here -2 +3, free state 0. So here iron, there is an increase in oxidation state from 0 to +3, so it is undergoing oxidation. But in the case of oxygen, there is no change, but hydrogen, there is a decrease in oxidation state from +1 to 0, so it is undergoing reduction. So these are the examples of hydrogen, that is a non-metal displacement reaction as well as redox reaction. So based on oxidation number only we have to explain. So for the first case, we have seen the very reactive metals displacing hydrogen from cold water. The second case, the less reactive metals which can displace hydrogen only from steam. The condition is more extreme. Now the third case, there are certain metals, they are not able to release hydrogen from cold water, but when they react with acids, that means the condition is more vigorous. When they react with acids, they can release hydrogen gas. For example, so here they are reacting with acids and they do not react with cold water. For example, zinc, when it reacts with hydrochloric acid, it can release hydrogen gas at the same time along with the formation of zinc chloride. In the second case, magnesium is reacting with hydrochloric acid to give hydrogen gas and magnesium chloride. Now how we can show that it is a redox reaction? Zinc in the free state 0, chlorine -1, so hydrogen will be +1. Here chlorine -1 into 2 -2, so zinc will be +2, here it is 0. So zinc, there is change from 0 to +2 undergoing oxidation, and hydrogen, there is change from +1 to 0 decrease, that means undergoing reduction. So here also magnesium in the free state, so 0, chlorine -1, hydrogen +1, chlorine -1 into 2 -2, so magnesium will be +2. Here H2 is in the free state, so it should be 0. So here what is the change in oxidation number of magnesium? 0 to +2, that means it is undergoing oxidation. There is an increase in oxidation number. Now chlorine, there is no change, but hydrogen, there is a decrease from +1 to 0 oxidation state, so it is undergoing reduction. So all these three cases are actually the displacement of hydrogen gas. Hydrogen is actually a non-metal, so these are non-metal displacement redox reactions. So release of hydrogen from cold water, which all metals, from steam, which all metals, then when they react with acids, which all elements can release hydrogen. So this is about the displacement reactions. So there is metal displacement reactions as well as non-metal displacement reactions. Now the last but the very important type of redox reaction is disproportionation reaction. Very important reaction for class 12. What is meant by disproportionation reaction? So before we study the definition, just see the very simple example, SeCl2 on decomposition giving SeCl4 and Sc. So just assigned oxidation state, chlorine is -1 into 2, we are getting -2. So selenium Sc should be +2. Here we have only one selenium, so it will be +2 plus -2, 0. It is decomposed to give SeCl4. Chlorine is -1 into 4, it is -4. So here selenium should be +4 because we have only one selenium. Here selenium is in the uncombined or in the free state, so it should be 0. Now see what is the change in oxidation state of selenium. Chlorine, is there any change in oxidation state? No. Left hand side and right hand side it is remaining as -1 oxidation state. But what happens is selenium? Yes, selenium in the left hand side it is in the +2 oxidation state, but in the right hand side you can see in the +4 and in the 0 oxidation state. That means +2 to +4 means there is an increase in oxidation number, that is oxidation for selenium. At the same time, selenium is getting, there is a change in oxidation state from +2 to 0 also. That means a decrease in oxidation number, that is reduction. Such type of reactions are known as disproportionation reactions. That means an element in a particular or in a particular oxidation state, here selenium is in +2 oxidation state, will be simultaneously oxidized and reduced. Here selenium in +2 oxidation state, it is oxidized to +4 state, at the same time it is reduced to 0 oxidation state. So definition for a disproportionation reaction is, an element in a particular oxidation state will be simultaneously oxidized and reduced. We have to see the oxidation state of the same element on the left hand side and right hand side. Such reactions are known as disproportionation reaction. Another example for a disproportionation reaction is the case of hydrogen peroxide. We know that H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide. Only in peroxides oxygen is exhibiting -1 oxidation state, because hydrogen here it is on left hand side, so it will be +1, +1 into 2 is +2. So on the left hand side it should be -2. We have 2 oxygen atoms, so 1 oxygen will be -1. -2 +1 0. So here which element is undergoing disproportionation reaction? Yes, oxygen. Hydrogen there is no change, +1 +1. Oxygen, what happens here? There is change from -2 to -1. -2 to -1 means there is decrease in oxidation number. That means reduction. At the same time, for oxygen, I am marking here, there is an increase in oxidation number also, -1 to 0. That is increase in oxidation number, that is oxidation. It means the same element in a particular oxidation state. So here oxygen is in -1 oxidation state. It is simultaneously reduced and oxidized. And such reactions are known as disproportionation reactions. This is about the different types of redox reactions.